This video was produced by the Top Cut. Be sure to check out thetopcut.net, your home for Pokemon TCG tournament coverage, professional game analysis, and interviews with the best players in the world. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, this is Pooka bringing you another game I played on the Pokemon trading card game online, and another game from good old Bad Deck Monday, where we play bad decks for fun and see if we can beat people with them. Because that's fun. And you will see my opponent now is the one and only FizzyStardust, who also has a YouTube channel where he posts a lot of games online, so be sure to check that out if you haven't before. He's got a lot of cool stuff on there. So this should be a fun matchup, maybe not depending on what deck he's playing. And yeah, this one might not be so fun, but everything's fun with Magmortar, so we'll see what happens. Now, of course, the point of my deck is just to get Magmortar and Emboar into play, and then I use Inferno Fandango with Emboar to attach as many fire as I can onto Magmortar, and then I use Magmortar's Top Burner, which discards a card from the top of your opponent's deck for each energy attached to it, and you just try to deck your opponent, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So it's a fun deck, not too serious. You don't really get to do it very often, where you get to actually deck somebody. But, you know, it's fun to try. Sometimes you can pull stuff out. And hopefully this is a good game. Now, right off the bat, he attaches an Eviolite to his Zekrom. Now, this is one of the problems with PTCGO. A lot of people complain about this program because, well, this is why. A lot of the cards are very glitched, they don't do what they're supposed to do, and they don't get fixed properly. So you'll see he puts an Eviolite on his active Zekrom, but at this point, when we played this game, this Eviolite actually does nothing. It just sits there and does nothing. It does not reduce damage, so that Eviolite is pretty much a wasted card in his deck, which is unfortunate, but you know, I'm still going to use the game because it's fun. A lot of cool stuff happen, but this is why I've had less and less content from Pokemon TCG Online over the past few months, I guess. It's just hard to get good games. You know, it's hard to find a game where actually nothing glitched happens and nothing goes wrong. Now, when you look at this, still, he has a pretty good matchup. I mean, Zekrom is very good against Magmortar because, well, he can just Bolt Strike and knock out Magmortar every turn, and he'll probably knock me out way before I get anywhere near decking him out. So, this is a pretty bad matchup regardless of Eviolite. Eviolite would make it worse, but just looking at it plainly, Zekrom, Tornadus, Pachirisu, Shaman, this deck has a very solid matchup against the Magmortar deck, because the key to beating the Magmortar deck is just to take 6 prizes as quickly as possible. It's similar to Durant, that it's just kind of trying to deck you out before you really take 6 prizes, but the difference with the Magmortar deck is that it requires a lot more setup, and it doesn't have space for those disruption cards like Durant does. It doesn't have space for the crushing hammers, the catchers, and all that stuff. So you really rely on the big top burners. You know, you rely on getting a ton of energy onto a Magmortar, and then using top burner to discard maybe 8 cards at a time, as opposed to the 4 you would with Durant. So where you lack the disruption, you make up for it by discarding a bunch of cards at once. This doesn't always work very well, but you know, it's fun. It's a lot more fun than Durant, I would think. So just go ahead and turn off the combat animations because it makes the game lag quite a bit. Another unfortunate side effect of the trading card game online, but definitely something you can work around. But here, you know, kind of a slow start for both of us. Nothing's really happened quite yet. He has used 2 catchers to bring up Tepig twice. Not a big deal. I mean, he hasn't been able to attack me yet. That's been the big thing. So, it's going to be close, I would think. You know, I don't really know. He's still got a ton of cards in his deck, and if he starts Bolt Striking, then I could be in a lot of trouble. But I've been pretty fortunate seeing that he hasn't been able to really put on any early pressure, And as you can see, I'm able to get a second Ninetales into play pretty quickly. This is good news for me, and I'll be able to roast reveal once again. So let's go ahead and draw 3. And I did get another energy. I don't really know where I want to put that. I'm going to attach the Tepig and retreat an Eek, I guess. And I do have a Pignite. I have a ton of evolutions in play, so things are going pretty well. Should probably play the Super Rod there, but I decided not to. This deck does take into account the fact that I'm going to be discarding energy over and over and over, and it plays 4 Fishermen, a bunch of energy retrievals and junk arms. Enough so that you can deck out your opponent. So right now we do see that Zekrom coming out, and he's playing a junk arm, which means he's going to play his hand down to 0 for a catcher. Now this is interesting. This actually might give me an opening. Now if Eviolite worked properly, I probably would have no chance of winning this game. But since Eviolite does not work properly, we're just going to pretend that it's not there. I might be able to actually knock out this Zekrom using Magmortar's Burst Punch for 60 and burn. And if I can knock out the Zekrom, maybe he just won't have enough energy or stuff to, you know, power up his other attackers, and that'll give me time to discard cards from his deck. So that's going to be my plan. I need to try to get something into play this turn, and there we go. I have Communication, which will get me an Emboar, and I have that Fisherman, which will provide me with enough energy to attack this turn. So I have the Rare Candy and the Emboar. Oh, I almost grabbed the Magmortar. What's going on here? Oh, that was a mistake. Not sure what I was doing there, but I think I accidentally took the wrong card. Whoops. That can happen sometimes when you're playing online. All the cards start to blend together, and you take the wrong one. So I definitely took the wrong card in that situation, and now I have to try to figure out what I just did. And I might have to waste a junk arm now because I accidentally took the wrong card. I was supposed to take Emboar there so I could Rare Candy into Emboar. And, yeah, I'm taking quite a while to figure out what to do because I'm so stupefied that I made that mistake. You know, you never really want to waste a junk arm. I actually decided to go for it and Sharon for 3. And I do get the Magmortar, but, you know, I wasn't able to get the third energy to Burst Punch. But actually, this isn't bad either. I can just go ahead and Inferno Fandango twice, and he still has to use Bolt Strike to knock me out. So he'll put himself down 40 hit points more, and there we go. I do get a top burner off. Discard 2 cards, not the biggest thing, but I'm going to try to make him use Bolt Strike to damage himself further, because an Outrage, that would only do 60, and that would allow me to top burner twice. If I'm allowed to use top burner twice with every Magmortar, I'll be able to win. Now it looks like he did get a Sage's Training. He played his hand down to 0, so he was in complete top deck mode. Looks like he did get a Sage's Training. This could lead to a supporter. Now I don't mind too much because Sage's Training pretty much takes 5 cards out of his deck and helps me out. And he puts down another Zekrom. I'm not sure why he's putting down so many different basics here. You know, really don't need that many Zekroms. Really no point. You want the bench space for Pachirisu and Shaman, but he does have 3 Zekroms and 2 Tornadus on the board. And here, I'm going to go ahead and Burn Tower. Get that. And I should be able to Burst Punch that Zekrom for a knockout this turn. Again, Eviolite doesn't work. I think we're both aware of this. But we're just going to play like it's not there. And I'll Fisherman for 4, and I'll be able to knock out the Zekrom for sure this turn. Now, which Pokemon do I want to attack with? Because this is kind of interesting. I could attack with Magmortar, or I could attack with a Ninetales, to be honest. I will decide to go with Magmortar, I guess, but I could just attack with Ninetales, get a knockout with that, and in case he attacks me again with something else, then I would only lose a Ninetales as opposed to a Magmortar. But in this case, it doesn't look like he has much. He says, this is awesome. And I will just Burst Punch the Zekrom for a knockout. And he only has 2 cards, so I'm just going to hope he really doesn't have anything. And he said, I can't even be mad. This is just too awesome. The Magmortar deck is a lot of fun. But here's a Pokegear, so this could be bad. Now, he's only got 2 cards. I don't expect him to be able to knock me out this turn. And there's a Collector, so really not too likely. His 2 cards, let's see, we need to have 2 energy. Oh, maybe just 1 energy now, because of the burn tower. He would need Collector to get Pachirisu and Shaman, and then 2 energy and move them all onto the Zekrom, and then Bolt Strike me for a knockout. Doesn't seem too likely, but he grabs the Pachirisu and the Shaman. So, yeah, let's see. Looks like he's got the 2 lightning. There they are. Which, this was pretty unexpected for me. I wasn't really expecting to be knocked out this turn, but he is going to be able to Bolt Strike again, and I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm going to have to start attacking him with some other stuff. Maybe start attacking with a Ninetales. Could even attack with Emboar if I really wanted to. That's actually probably not a good idea. But the Magmortar deck is different from Durant in that it can sort of switch gears and attack sometimes. My opponent still has 27 cards in his deck, so I'm not going to deck him if I just keep using Top Burner. I need to knock out his attacker and prevent Zekrom from knocking all my stuff out, and hopefully he just runs out of attackers, and then I can win by using Top Burner the rest of the way. So, I am going to go ahead. Burn Tower has been both of our friends this game, apparently. Burn Tower, a very good card when you're playing a Ninetales deck. Every turn you get to flip a coin. If it's heads, take a basic energy from your discard pile and put it into your hand, and that's all there is to that. So, this turn I will have to decide what I want to do. I don't have a Magmortar actually, which is a bad thing, and running out of cards in my deck. Gotta be careful. I know there's a Super Rod in my deck. I also discarded a Magmortar earlier, so I'm still trying to draw that Super Rod, and I do not draw it. Now, I really would have loved to just use Top Burner this turn, but I don't have a Magmortar, and I don't know if there's one in my deck still. It could be prized. I know I discarded one earlier on with Junk Arm, so I might have to just use Ninetales to do 60 this turn. I'm not really sure what I want to do, how I want to go about it, but yeah, I'm going to have to do something this turn. And I also have a decision, what Pokemon do I want to bench, because I need... Okay, so I need to attack him this turn, otherwise he could just catch out Cleffa and Outrage, and I wouldn't be anywhere, I'd be down a prize. If I don't attack, that's a bad situation, because I need to knock out this Zekrom within 2 turns. So I need to attack probably with Ninetales this turn, setting him up for a knockout for next turn. And then once I get rid of him, then I can start using Top Burner, hopefully, and discard his deck. I actually don't mind losing the Ninetales at this point. As you can see, I have quite a massive hand, so I have pretty much everything I need besides Super Rod. Hopefully we'll draw into that soon. But I have everything I need. I need a bench spot for an extra Magmar, actually. The bad thing about this deck is you always want bench space for 2 Ninetales, 2 Emboar, 2 Magmortar, just because of Catcher. And for Magmortar, you need a second one immediately after the first one gets knocked out. So you need a lot of bench space. I wish Cleffa would be knocked out, but he's still there, taking up a bench spot, so I actually need to sacrifice a Ninetales in this situation. Now here he does have a Catcher, and that's not good news for me. He actually brings out an Emboar, and wow, plays his hand down to 0 once again, and he'll be able to knock out my Emboar with Outrage and a plus power for 130. This was pretty shocking as well. My opponent has been on a pretty small hand the whole game, but had just enough to kind of take me over and get these crucial prizes. Now here, I do have a Super Rod. Looks like there are 2 Magmortars in there already. So, I'll have to shuffle in probably 2, maybe all 3. I guess I will do 2 and a Magmar if I really wanted to. I do need to draw into a Magmortar this turn. So yeah, I put in 2 Magmortars and then a Magmar. I need to get... Well, actually this turn it doesn't really matter. I don't need to get Magmortar quite yet, because I will be knocking out the Zekrom regardless of what happens. I don't know if I need to Roast Reveal. I actually need to not Roast Reveal because there are 4 cards left in my deck. Oh, looks like I'm going to do it anyway. I don't really care. And alright, we're grabbing a Magmortar here. This turn, yeah, I really didn't need to do that. I don't know why I did, but I did. And alright, so gonna Junk Arm away 2 Pokemon Collectors. See, I just grabbed Super Rod again. Gonna shuffle cards back in. I just wanted to get the Magmortar into play. And I will Super Rod again. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in. There are 2 Fishermen in my hand. Let's see, I'll put another Magmortar, probably a Fire. Yeah, a Fire as well. There are 5 Fire in my discard pile. And 3 on the active, 1 in my hand. So that means, let's see, 5 on the discard, 4 in play, there's 9. There's probably 3 at most left in my deck. And I actually think there's only 2 Fire left in my deck, so I'm just going to Fisherman this turn so I can have those energy for next turn. And I will just use Will-O-The-Wisp with Ninetales. How often do you get to see Ninetales knock out a Zekrom? Not very often, but you get to see it for this Bad Deck Monday battle. For those of you who don't know, Bad Deck Monday is something that happens. It's a live stream that happens almost every Monday, where I just kind of play a bunch of bad decks, see what happens. And this was one of those that happened quite a while ago. So, we have knocked out 2 Zekroms at this point. Our opponent has a lot of cards left in the deck. We just have to hope that we can deck him out before he takes those final 2 prizes. I don't think I'll be able to attack and knock out his stuff. He has 25 cards left. That's going to mean I need to top burner probably, 23 of them or so. 22 maybe. 21 maybe if I'm lucky. After accounting for drawing cards and all that stuff. So, he actually puts down Shaman. Not sure what he's doing here. He actually secreted up. That allowed me to pick up my Cleffa, which isn't a huge deal, but helping me out a little bit. And once again, he's down to 0 cards, so this is perfect. I get to start using Top Burner. Now, unfortunately, Ninetales was not knocked out, so the energy stays on him for a while. I mean, usually that's not unfortunate, but it is in this case. I want those 2 energy on my Magmortar. So here, we're going to use Infernal Fandango. Just going to speed this part up a little bit. And attach all of my energy. So yes, Infernal Fandango is a very excruciating process on PTCGO. That's also never been fixed. But here we go, Top Burner. We are going to discard 8 cards from the top of my opponent's deck. And if we can do this a couple turns in a row, and there's heads, so that is a huge flip. If tails, I would have had to discard all of those Fire. There's no way I would be able to really get 8 energy back on him. I just don't really have the resources left to do that. I do have the Fisherman, that would only get me 4 back. So I will be able to do 8 this turn, which is really big. He does get a double colorless for his Zekrom, so Bolt Strike is a coming. I should be able to win if I can just Top Burner for this amount 2 more times. So we're going to Top Burner once again. Here we go, 8 more cards, and this is what can happen with Magmortar once you get rolling. You're just milling through your opponent's deck like nobody's business, and look, another heads. The energy stays on my Magmortar. We'll see whether or not he has the energy to retreat. If he does, he can Bolt Strike. And then I have to see, can I discard the rest of his deck next turn? It looks like there's a heads. He will get the lightning back with Burn Tower. He'll be able to retreat. And there's 7 cards. So, I need to be able to discard 7 cards with Top Burner. And I have a Fisherman. I have 2 Junk Arms in my hand for energy retrieval. This is a reality. I should be able to win this game. Unless he plays something crazy like an N or a Judge. Both of those would disrupt me quite a bit. But if things don't change, I'll be able to Top Burner next turn and win the game. So this is insanity. It looked like I was just going to get dominated. I was attacking into Zekroms with Ninetales and Magmortar. Eventually he just ran out of stuff. And here we are. He's down to 7 cards in his deck. It doesn't look like there's any way he can shuffle cards back in or anything like that. I have 2 Fishermen. I can only play 1, but I will be able to get 4 energy back with that. The 2 Junk Arms will turn into 2 energy retrievals, and then I should be able to get 4 more energy out of my discard pile and Top Burner for the win. So just like that, look, 2 turns ago, he had 25 cards in his deck. And now, I'm going to deck him out. Here comes Magmortar. I'm just going to push him up. There's a Super Rod. Don't really need to play that. There's Fisherman. Be able to get 4 fire out of the discard pile. Let's see. We just have the 2 junk arms here. The win is certainly in hand. We just need to go through all the motions and make sure we don't screw anything up. So alright, here's a junk arm. Gonna dump 2 cards. As long as I don't discard 2 fires, I'm okay. Alright, so there's energy retrieval number 1. Another junk arm. Let's see. Drop the Pokemon collector and a Cleffa. Anything except energy retrieval and fire I need to not discard. And he's saying, GG. I'm glad he could enjoy this game as much as I could. So there's energy retrieval number 1, energy retrieval number 2. Here is an Inferno Fandango 8 times. So let's speed through this again. It's very annoying on PTCGO that you have to click on Emboar every single time and then click on the energy and then click on the Pokemon over and over and over. I wish there was a better system for this, but there's not. And here we go. Now we can have our glorious moment. Top burner. We are going to discard his entire deck. And Magmortar, Emboar, Ninetales will be victorious, and we even get to keep our energy. And we were able to deck out our opponent, FizzyStardust. So that was a pretty fun game. If he had Eviolite, this would have been completely different. But doesn't happen to work. So our bad deck was able to trump the Tornadus, Zekrom, Pachirisu, Shaman deck. And there you have it. So, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I sure did. Had some nice Magmortar top burning action. And have some more games up soon. Thanks for watching. Just be on the lookout for those. And I will see you guys next time.